Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Domestic Boyfriends podcast. My name is Dean, and always with me is my beautiful co host, Vincent.
Hello.
We are back, we are revitalized, we have a new purpose when it comes to this. And hopefully, you guys will be able to see it as we work on the new episodes coming out this month and for the rest of the year and the foreseeable future. We have a couple things that we're going to be trying out. We're going to feel the waters on a few of these ideas, but mostly the same old talkity talk that you are used to with us. We have a lot of great news to go over. The new segment is back. You know, the writer, SAG-AFTRA, and everybody involved in the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild over in Hollywood got their situations in a better state to the point where the strikes are over. And we're going to be talking more about news that we couldn't before because that was the majority of this year was the fact that we couldn't do that. So we're going to bring up some things that we want to talk about. Like a lot of it has passed by this point, but we're going to bring up a couple of those things. And this week, we are going to be doing one of our rare anime episodes. So, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Dr.Stone. Really excited about this. Was a show that I watched when it first came out, and now that I am more caught up with it, I'm excited to talk about it because it's pretty great. I think it's if you haven't watched it, I think it's a really good anime for introducing non-anime viewers to. I don't know if like you
Mhm.
agree,
Oh,
but
wholeheartedly.
because like the concepts within it, like it's not too far off for this being like a show on like NBC. It's just
The hmm
it's just like portrayed like in anime. That's all.
Yeah, the easiest comparison that I've given to people and like to people that I've recommended the show to who aren't necessarily into anime but are like a part of our generation and stuff is anyone that grew up enjoying watching Jimmy Neutron will enjoy the show and get a major kick out of it. Because for all intents and purposes, this is really just anime Jimmy Neutron of specifically the episode uh where they went back in time with the remote control and then it was broken, so they had to
Yes.
so Jimmy just had to recreate things with Stone Age technology.
Honestly, it reminds
And
me
if
of
that was turned into a full anime arc.
and honestly the episode where he was abandoned on the island with
On the island with Cindy.
yeah, it was you know, pretty one for one.
Yeah. And like it's fantastic. Like Jimmy Neutron was great and like everything going on in the show is honestly just really solid.
Yeah, no. So stick around for that in the end, because that is today's topic. But to go over some news, we have a lot to cover. You know, we there's multiple things that we can dive into, but we're just gonna talk about a few. Production for a lot of movies are back in. Some stuff got canceled. I know, like we're off the hype of. I think like it's died down a lot, especially since the Game Awards happened and Spider-Man 2 got no awards that it was nominated for.
Fucking robbed.
To say that like a lot of people are off the hype train of it. But with the actor strike, we actually got like we didn't get confirmation, but a lot of stuff has happened with some of the stuff that we were promised from both Marvel and Sony. Though in productions, they don't really have 100% control if they're not the distributor and the producing studio. But the Silk show is kind of in limbo right now. I think like the Actors Guild or the Writers Guild is like taking Amazon to court for it, which is like that's never a win-win situation when you're going up against a mega company. But that's really sad because and spoilers for Spider-Man, Cindy Moon. Like I think that was like what was aligned or like what like an idea was probably tossed around is like them like putting this character more into the limelight. But if the show doesn't happen, then that's kind of sad. Um, I don't really know how much knowledge you have on Cindy Moon Silk herself. Because like
Oh,
she's
I
like
have very little.
okay, she's like I want to say she's like a relatively new character. She's like She's like an original Sin character, and original Sin happened like I want to say like ooh sorry, I want to say like that happened like original Sin was like around the same time as the New 52 ish. So like I want to say like 2012, 13, maybe 14. So she was like retconned into existence and stuff. Um, Aquaman. We're not going to talk about Aquaman too. Um, Kill the Justice League. Want to talk about that?
Yeah.
All right. Um, so after everybody bullied Rocksteady into like submission and made them like go dark for a while, we got more news. I forget where we got more news for Kill the Justice League at.
Twitter, YouTube, tons of stuff. They
Yeah,
have
it didn't it
tons
got
of gameplay
leaked, right?
footage now.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, they just officially put it out.
Yeah. But wasn't it at like an event? Or was it
Uh,
just like social
I
media?
think it was just dropped.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was at an event or anything.
So everybody was kind of like sad about everything, and like they were like, it's not that good, and like they're really bullying the studio and everything. And like, when has Rocksteady made a bad game? You know what I mean? Like, trust the process. I get it's a little different when they're working with someone like DC or like if Rocksteady like were to work with Marvel or like any other big studio. But February 2nd, we're gonna get this game, and like me and Vincent have already talked about it beforehand when like the initial releases were coming out. But like, this is gonna be like a day one. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a. This is gonna be a. We are. What is it, February 2nd? Let me check. February 2nd's like Friday. Yeah, no, I already know what I'm gonna use my PTO on that day. I'm gonna take a half day like I did for Spider Man, and then I'm gonna take the day off. So February 5th, I'm gonna take the day off of work because I'm gonna be running some games with Vincent and maybe James and Kenneth.
I'm
Like
so
we can be
excited.
our second or third. I don't know if anybody else on the friend
I
group's
just
gonna
need to
buy
know
it.
what platform. Oh,
Oh,
PS5.
PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
We're just
That's
on.
fine.
We're on a PlayStation. Don't say
Okay.
that. You're gonna hurt me.
No, no, no,
What
no, no, no.
platform?
I'm playing on PlayStation. Are you kidding? Haptic feedback? Adaptive controller?
It might be purple.
It's the PlayStation, not the sit there and look at it station. I'm playing it on.
It might be purple. Maybe what if it's like always glowing purple? That'd be
That'd be
cool.
cool.
It looks good. The trailer releases the very little but like more expansive look into what the story is gonna be. Like we already know is like the Brainiac stuff, but like the Justice League is taking over, like the situation that we're probably gonna be in. Uh, the fact that Metropolis is apparently 2 times larger than Gotham is in the Arkham universe, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Skins, customize like everything's customizable, weapons. Yeah, it's just they unloaded on us. They really said they really threw the like training arc attitude at us. I still don't know who I'm gonna play. I really thought Killer King Shark was gonna be my definite no, but honestly, like
He looks cool.
I don't dislike any of them.
I
So
kind of want to try playing Captain Boomerang. I've always had like a fascination with like a speedster in a video game setting, which we still haven't really gotten outside of like the Lego games.
yeah, and I'm interesting to see how his mobility is because like it seems like he's more of a teleporter with cool animations, like throw a boomerang and then you're just gonna go. But we also seen scenes where he's like obviously moving at higher speeds, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be really cool. They did say I don't know if you caught it in the one trailer. They said additional characters or they said other characters. So who we see if there are going to be more than the 4 that we get in the base game, or if more are unlocked throughout the entire game, or of course we already knew that there was a season or there's a battle pass and everything like that. So like, who do you want in this?
I want to play as Lex.
Okay, I can
We
see
know
it.
he's in the game. It'd be
Yeah.
cool to play as Lex.
You want
Be
him in
fun.
you want him in the armor, or do you just want you want guy? Just guy or armor?
I want to play armor. I
Okay.
want to play as armor Lex. I have a feeling we're just gonna get like just supervillains. You know,
Playable, yeah.
I don't really feel like we're gonna get heroes to play as.
Do you want? I mean, besides King Shark's not really. I mean, he is a meta, but do you want people with meta powers? Because all of these people, like the Speed Force Gauntlet and King Shark being just a fucking shark, like there's no real powers. These are all like weapons.
Well, I mean, King Shark does have his own power, right?
He's
At
a
least in
shark,
this version of him, he has shark powers.
but I mean,
Um,
like besides that, like we don't have like it's not like we're dealing with like we're not Sinestro, we're not even like someone as simple as like uh fuck, what's her name? She's like a girl, but she has Mister Freeze powers.
oh, Killer Frost.
Yeah, like we could be like Killer Frost or even Poison Ivy, like all metas with
This will be
pretty
fun.
crazy abilities. If I had to be, I'm interested to see how they do Speedster and everything like that, and like what DLC branches we could see from this. Because I would
Yeah.
definitely want to see like a. I feel like this would be a situation where like we see Thawne again, like we would see Eobard Thawne, and he's just like, "You messed up the timeline again, Barry." And he's just like, "I'm stuck here," just like an Injustice. He's like, "I'm stuck in a time loop." Yeah, no, super excited for this game. It's gonna be great. Remember to stay
Can't believe they
optimistic,
bullied
kids.
them into making it come out later.
I
I
know,
get it.
right?
Not everyone wants to shoot purple orbs, but goddamn, I wanted to shoot purple orbs in September.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it might have just been a developmental thing. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. Um, oh, what else? You don't have plans on it, but I saw the Marvels. So it was pretty good. They had a bunch of like glow in the dark, or not glow in the dark. Like they had a bunch of like stuff that lit up. Like they get like you could get a cup, like a popcorn holder. There's two different cups.
Mhm.
That was cool. It was cool. If you see it one day, maybe we could talk about it. But
Yeah.
uh, Marvel things. Sorry, I'm just going through like my brain right now. Spider Man. Yeah, we talked about Spider Man already. It's still a good game. Interested to see how Wolverine is gonna be. Um, um, Godzilla. Godzilla.
I love
God,
that, man.
Godzilla. We haven't seen Minus. I haven't seen Minus.
I haven't seen it either.
But there's like so much Godzilla stuff just like happening.
I went to see the new Studio Ghibli movie in theaters yesterday.
Oh, what's the new Studio Ghibli movie?
It's The Boy and the Heron.
Oh,
Robert
okay.
Pattinson voices the Heron.
Oh, what? Was it good?
Yeah, Steve Batista and Mark Hamill. It was a movie.
Steve
It's
Batista?
just very
Who's
Dave
that?
Batista. Steve Batista. It's his cousin. But
Interesting.
the movie was like kind of hard to follow. But like the big thing was that the theater that I went to, and it's been like kind of an issue for that theater for a while, is that their walls are kind of thin. And
Yeah.
so like I was just watching a movie and it got to like this really like sad, tense moment where it was like really quiet, and then in the next theater over, I just heard Godzilla screaming. I'm like, oh, this is kind of taken away from this moment right now. And then I literally heard some guy shout, "Go tear up!" But it's like literally like in the movie, so like it carried over to the next theater.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, could you imagine like being in like a super tense you're like next to a theater that's the same movie, but you're at different points. And like the
Mhm.
super tense moment that you're in gets interrupted by the like jump scare in the other one. Well, I mean, that's good. Robert Pattinson and Mark Batista?
Uh, Nathaniel.
William Batista. Gotcha.
Yeah, that one.
Speaking of big men, Godzilla X Kong. They're not facing each other anymore. They're together.
Yep.
Um, Opinions?
Uh, I was excited, and
Yeah,
then I saw the trailer and saw them running
yeah.
and just booking it, and now I'm worried that this is going to be some kind of like weird Godzilla comedy movie in a way.
So they're a buddy cop trio or duo. I don't know what the third one is. Um, what do you think happened to his arm?
Uh, Frostburn. I don't know. Uh,
Do you think he something ate it off?
Maybe.
Where do you
There's
think the
always a
pig?
bigger fish.
Where do you think the axe is?
The axes?
The axe. Remember the axe?
Oh, I've got no
They don't need.
idea.
They don't need it anymore.
Maybe that's
Merchandise
what was
sold.
used to chop it off.
What's it like? Have you played Devil May Cry 5?
A little bit.
Is it like when he? Is it when Nero or is it like when Nero gets his arm cut off by Virgil? He used his own sword to cut off his son's thing. No. Okay. I might have
Maybe.
just spoiled something for you.
I.
Eh?
It's
Yeah.
been a while since I played five.
Okay. Um. Do you have anything while I look through some of my stuff?
Um, I did not necessarily come prepared. Um,
Oh, the FNAF movie.
well,
What do you think
you know
of?
what? We actually no, we got some pretty exciting stuff that was announced during the Game Awards. So,
Hmm.
like, let's talk about that for a little bit.
Oh
At the very
yeah.
least, one very specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I know you and me, you and I both like games from the PS2 era. Um, and
I
one of
try.
my
Yeah.
favorite games to the point where like I went and like made a very at the time very irresponsible decision, but now looking back on it, really cool decision.
Uh huh.
Which was buying a physical copy of the game off of eBay for $120.
Uh huh.
One of my favorite games growing up was Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yes, 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 yes.
And at the Game Awards, we had an announcement for the next Dragon Ball game, which is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know and uh, aren't that aware of like the Budokai series, it's Dragon Ball's Arena Fighter, like how Naruto has the Storm series.
Yeah.
It's always been super over the top, always had majorly sized rosters. The third one being the game with the fighting game with the second largest roster of all time, only beaten by Pobble 2, which is a bunch of inflated numbers because they're all just like reskins of different characters. I think in total,
Yeah.
I think it might actually have like 15 characters. I don't know. But it was always cool. It was the Dragon Ball game where I could go and like play as Goku and play as any one of his forms. You could play as Kid Goku and then just become an Ozuru like that. You don't get to do that in like Dragon Ball video games. You don't get to become the monkey.
Yeah.
You don't get to play as Super Saiyan 4 Goku and then fuse with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta by picking both just the base GT forms of the characters and then
Oh, I
choosing to
forgot.
fuse.
I forgot that was a thing
You don't get
could
to
do.
have a roster of 5 characters that you have to literally beat all of to be able to get through. Those games could last a while.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since we had a Budokai game. And Sparking is actually the Japanese name for the series. So for all intents and purposes, Sparking Zero is Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Yeah. That was a big thing that a lot of people were confused about. They were like, "What is this new title?" And I was like, "No, they just they're just trying to catch up to Japan because Japan knew what they were doing." Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. I do have a bit of a nitpick, and it's the fact that we're still calling them the Dragon Ball Z the Dragon Ball Z games.
Hmm.
I don't know if they just don't want to use Super or they just don't want to go back to just Dragon Ball, or if it's
Hmm.
just Z is like more known. But like
Yeah.
we have like Super Saiyan Blues in there. Like we're probably gonna get like UI and everything like that, and like
Yeah. I mean, we have Broly from Super. We
yeah.
have um we have the wolf guy from Jiren from Super.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Um from bits of stuff that they showed off. It's going to be another Dragon Ball game where playing through the story starts you with having to fight Raditz again. You know, it's just sort of Dragon Ball now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a tiny tidbit on my behalf because
Hmm.
like they I don't know they just always like keep with that title because like I don't know maybe it's more
Yeah.
recognizable or something. I don't know.
I'm just ready for the cinematics again. That was like one of my biggest gripes about like the Xenoverse games. I had like a lot of issues with the Xenoverse games as a whole,
Uh huh.
honestly. Like they're fun and everything, but they weren't Budokai. You you didn't get to like use your like technique and then force your opponent to watch like a mini cutscene to like finish it because you landed a really hard to hit move.
Yeah.
Like that's something endearing about the series. So excited for it.
Yeah. No, I'm also excited for it. Um, Still waiting for my Naruto fighters, but that's just me. Um,
Yeah.
Man, I had something. I had something and then I dropped it, Vincent. Dragon Ball anime. What was I thinking? Maybe it's something on my Twitter feed that I passed up. Dang it. Uh, uh, Monster Hunter. We're just gonna talk about some Game Awards stuff.
Yeah.
New Monster Hunter. That's exciting. Do we have a release date on it?
2025.
Yeah, it's just 2025. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, me and Vincent are big Monster Hunters. So that's gonna be fun. By 2025, I'll have a gaming PC back. Maybe, probably, hopefully. And then we can play the Monster Hunter, and then we can fight
Hey, maybe it'll be cross-platform for all we know.
yeah, we can fight Gormagala together.
Dude, I just can't wait to push back Zora Magdaros again and
We
get
have
up
to
on the
hold them
Hentai
back.
back.
Sora Magnaros is approaching.
Where's my dragon?
Where's my Dragonator? Um, yeah, it's interesting. I want to see what OGs are gonna come back. Um, the the chances like when we see box monsters come back
Hmm.
pretty frequently. I don't know. I just want to fight Nergigante again.
Yeah, I hope Nergigante comes back. Nergigante was one of my favorites from World.
I'm also interesting because I don't know if this is like evolving. Okay, well, we can do some like minor speculation. Do you think that this is going to be a sequel to World?
Um, no,
I
I
only
don't.
ask this because the post game was you going into the wilds. That's what it was called, right? The Wildlands.
No,
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 no, no,
no.
no. What was
The
it called?
post game, uh, well, the post game of World for the base was fighting the tempered monsters, and then Iceborne happened, and then you had the Guiding Lands.
The Guiding Lands. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe if this was called Monster
are
Hunter
you thinking of
Guiding.
like the Wildspire Waste,
No,
which
no, no,
was
no,
the
no.
desert
I
map?
remembered. I remembered the Guiding Lands as the Wildlands.
Yeah. No. I have a feeling like, the guiding lands is going like things that they tried using the guiding lands for are going to be implemented there because
Oh
this is
yeah,
a full open world Monster Hunter game.
yeah, yeah.
From all the trailers and breakdowns that I've seen so far, like there's a tent that you're probably going to be able to set up so you can like make your own um like campsites to go to. You have you can see in the hunter's satchel that he has a light bow gun
Yeah.
in there, so probably swapping weapons on the fly will be there. I'm kind of terrified because our hunter definitely has a slinger on his arm, and I don't want to have to, use like the slinger was fine. Like, sure, let us use it, but don't make it a requirement. But please do not bring back the grapple hook thing. I don't want to have to do a constant. Oh,
You
our
know,
damage isn't good enough. Gotta
yeah.
keep making sure that we have the weakened part from my little grapple hook
Are you
move
telling
that
me you
takes
don't want
15
to?
seconds.
You telling me you don't want to make everything easier? Just
I
give
want
her.
the monster to kick the shit out of me, and then I have to like throw my head at it over and over again until I beat it.
Don't you like main hammer?
No,
Oh,
I was a great sword main for a
great
long time,
sword. Okay.
and that is a great sword mentality. Monster try hit me, I hit it back hard.
Yeah.
But recently I've actually fallen in love with at the start of Rise it was Hunting Horn because Hunting Horn is so much fun in Rise.
Yeah.
It's just push button
It's
do
big.
do.
It's a song hammer now.
Yeah, it's Songhammer and it's so much fun. But the one that I've truly fallen in love with is, and I never thought I would, is Longsword.
Interesting. You've entered your weeb era.
It's so much fun. They gave it the main reason why I picked it up was because they gave it something called the Sacred Sheath combo, which is just the true charge slash but for longsword. So
Huh.
you give me move that makes the damage go to 4 numbers and up. Oh, please. Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think I tried. I was like trying. Oh, sword and shield was the last thing I was trying to learn. Yeah. So the last thing that I was trying to learn was sword and shield because I used to like my main is like insect glaive and
Hmm.
I also play charge blade quite a bit. That's like insect glaive is like my main and then like charge blade's just like if I want to do like solo hunts.
Yeah.
Um,
I Do you think they're going to give us a new weapon?
we all
Or
everybody keeps speculating about it. And ever since insect glaive and whatchamacallit got added. What got added with insect glaive? Was it charge blade?
no, it was switch axe.
Swax got added. Yeah. Uh, maybe. Do you think if they add in a new weapon, it has to be in a pair? So it's just not one new thing.
I want them to bring back um some of the weapons that they had in Frontier. How do you know anything about Monster Hunter Frontier?
No, you're not.
Oh, we could do a whole episode on Frontier. Frontier is so cool. It was the like Korean MMO.
Oh wait,
Um,
yeah, I know a little bit about this. It
Frontier is
ran
so cool,
for
dude.
it
There's so
ran
many
for a
cool
long
things about
time,
Frontier.
right?
Oh yeah, it ran for a very long time.
2007
Shout
to
out to one of my
2013.
favorite content creators, Super Rad. For any Monster Hunter fan, uh, look into Super Rad. He has super awesome long form content, just like diving really deep into just Monster Hunter as a whole. He has full breakdowns and retrospectives on all of the games, giving you certain like timelines and like content updates all the way through and just breaking down the timelines of that as well as like the evolutions of weapons across all the games.
What the fuck
But my
is
favorite
this?
series that he did was on Frontier because I never got to play the game. And since Frontier was an MMO,
Yeah.
the game is like impossible to actually get info about, or at least it was for a long time. there are people working on reviving the game through private servers right now,
Yeah, I was
and
about
I
to
am
say I'm like looking into it. It's
waiting
interesting.
with bated breath because I desperately want to try playing the game. Um,
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I see what you're talking about. The new
yeah,
you have the
they
tonfas and then the
had
magnet spike.
they had a couple unique things for weapons. They had two new weapons being Tonfa and Magnet Spikes. Tonfa um, were a lot like dual blades and are just really cool.
Oh, dual blades aren't in
And
here. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, they're just okay, okay, okay. Keep talking.
and Magnet Spike is probably like the funniest and coolest weapon that they had because you 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 have this like giant like bow looking thing, but instead of it having like a drawstring, it's just a pole and that's where you grab it and wield it as like an axe. And then you put down like a magnetic orb on the ground and then just like invert and then get pulled to it and then smack people. It's a very
Interesting.
goofy weapon, but like both were like cool concepts. I like the ideas of them.
This literally
The
just
only
looks
other
like an
like
obese bow that you're
yeah.
holding wrong.
Oh yeah. The other like big thing for weapons in the game as a whole, which is absolutely hilarious, was that they had introduced weapon sizes.
Is that why I see
So
a medium bowgun?
you could have a very short weapon, which was never the right decision, or you could have an extra long weapon.
So I can have an
Um,
extra short lance.
you could have an you can have an extra short lance, or you could have my personal favorite, um, an an extra large great sword, which I will send you a picture of real quick. And that looks ridiculous.
Whoa, that's big.
That
That's huge. What the
yeah,
heck?
no, it was almost always the right decision to pick these like extra large versions of these weapons. Just because you got like all of the range benefits.
It's so
Uh
hacks.
it's so crazy. Those are dual blades. Why are they so big?
Wait, so what? No, those are two great swords.
No.
Just dual wielding great swords. So how did
You're
that work
so
for
cool.
like bows? Was it
I
just a
have no
really
idea.
long bow?
I have no earthly idea.
Because I imagine for something like that, if anything, it's just more cumbersome.
It might not have even been an option for bows.
Like
I honestly
a
do
really
not know.
long bow gun doesn't seem very bad at all, but like so interesting. An extra long sword and shield. An extra long sword. Interesting. Yeah, no, I remember seeing something about this when I first wanted to get into Monster Hunter. I like looked up a bunch of stuff, and it was like content about like monsters that like you'll never see anymore, and like some of it was some stuff from Frontier that hasn't made its way into any other games.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, yeah. Um, but to answer your question, do I think that they're gonna add something? Are they gonna add something new? Maybe. Um, we hope for more content like that instead of them giving us fucking wire bugs. So,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how uh, mobility works because they are obviously taking the stuff from Rise and like running with it. So, I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. Do you think we're gonna be able to like I don't know? Do you think I can ride a Rathalos to like a different area as my vehicle and then kill him?
That would be cool.
Yeah, I hope it's fun. Do you want to talk about the big one, the big game to be gamed, the
The big
big
game to be game.
the big game to be talked about, the big game we thought would never happen, the big game that's not
They
Fortnite.
didn't, they didn't show off Kingdom Hearts 4.
No, 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 no. The other game underneath that game. Because you played GTA with us before, right?
Oh, GTA 6.
Yeah, we got the trailer.
I'm so excited.
I think it'll be fun. It's cool. We're back in Vice
I'm
City.
gonna day one that game for sure.
We're back in Vice City. That'll be fun.
I've I played a little bit of San Andreas growing up, but I was in one of those households where, um, you know, I could never have an M-rated game um until like you
Hmm.
hit the age limit.
Yeah.
Um, and so my first GTA game was 5, and I devoured that.
Did you also
I
say it was an ad?
huh?
Did you say it was an ad when your mom walked in?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, okay.
always. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an ad in the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Inside joke.
but I Rockstar really knows how to write stories.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we're gonna get out of this. Seems like some Bonnie and Clyde type stuff. Um, yeah, it's definitely exciting. Um, what was I gonna say? Anything else that you wanted to talk about? They put Rock Band in Fortnite. You know, that's cool.
What?
Um,
Oh no.
what else? I really can't think of anything else. Maybe more stuff will come to me later. I think my wife bought me the Lego Optimus Prime that transforms.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I can't wait till Christmas. I think that's what I'm getting. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. Uh, yeah, I really can't think of anything else, at least at the moment. You know, we have months of news to like think about here and there, and you know, things pop up. Um, I just saw. Okay, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Um, do you wanna talk about wanna talk about the topic? Want to go into the topic?
I think we should.
All right, cool. Um, straight out the gate, spoiler warning. Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, straight out the gate. Spoiler warning. If you do not want to hear about Dr. Stone up to what is this season 2 episode 30? Is that what it is?
Season.
3? Season 2?
This is season 3, episode.
20. Right?
Yes.
Okay,
Where we
season
currently
3.
are at.
The season 3 episode 20. Spoilers if you're not caught up. Um let's just do like an overview first before we talk about everything. Let's just do like a up to this point.
For sure.
Um
Everything is made of rocks.
this it's so interesting. I really do love Dr. Stone, and the thing that really caught my eye with it was like it is one of the very few things that stuck in Shonen Jump that wasn't just a battle shonen.
Hmm.
And you know, it I don't know. It's really cool to just watch people like them to do things. People a lot of people say that Dr. Stone gets boring after a certain point, but like I just I feel like whatever it lacks, it always makes up for in something else. Like whatever action it lacks, it makes up for the billions of pages of fucking science that's behind it. Or when it's lacking science, there's like drama. So I guess to like start it out for a brief overview, the world got turned to stone. Every single person got turned to stone. Okay, real quick, the birds turn to stone, right?
Yeah.
But not the dogs or the animals, right?
Uh, Unclear.
Because the birds definitely did.
The birds definitely did,
At least some of the birds did.
or at least some of the birds. At least maybe
Yeah.
those were tests.
I don't know. But Dr. Stone is, of course, if you're here and you know about it, but like you want a recap of the story, like this is going to be a rough one. But if you're deciding to just go balls to the wall and you're just going to learn about it with us, thank you. But one day, a high school student named Senku and his best friend and his other friend, they're in school. His friend Taiju is going to confess his love to his childhood friend Yuzuriha. And literally seconds later, he gets no'd. No, because the world got turned to stone. And thousands of years later, the world is not at peace, but the Stone Age begins when Senku wakes up. All details we're not totally sure of. You only watch the anime, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I actually okay. Funny thing, I knew everything up to the name of the pet of how the petrification started, and I know the last chapter. But reading the last chapter doesn't give me any spoilers for context that happened in the entire series. You could literally watch the first 5 episodes, read the last chapter, and be like, okay, I get it. And then, like, you're just kind of questioning who a bunch of these people are that you get introduced to. So I know what the last chapter is, but everything for me in the anime is like new knowledge. So I was just wondering if like you had any, if we were on a different page where you had more information than me. But we get introduced. I guess we get reintroduced to Senku, and he wakes up because he got peed on. Imagine waking up after thousands of years because he got peed on. Imagine you got peed on. Anyway, so the beginning of Dr. Stone, it's so interesting. I always want to say that Senku is like a MacGyver, but he's not because he's just so much smarter. He's like
Mm-hmm.
the perfect person to get put into this situation because he thrives. I feel like he would thrive more if it was like a more technologically advanced society and everybody was turned to stone. But like, it's such a everything in this series is very perfect for what needs to happen, and that's okay. Like that's just like how the story evolves, and it's the story that he's telling. But like, out of all of the people to wake up and to figure out the things that are happening, and to also have these people involved who, like, the people who didn't get petrified are people that one of them is like involved with him in a way, is so like it's it's so much coincidence that like you just gotta kind of run with it,
Mm-hmm.
because like the idea that his dad is one of the only other people and like his dad entrusted his will into him for the future thousands of years beforehand is so like wild, like it itself is so wild. But yeah, I don't really want to do a recap because this is a long story.
It's a very long story.
But Senku, I guess we'll do up to like arcs, right? So
Yeah.
in the beginning, he Senku gets revived, and like he kind of has to like he's like born in the 21st century, so like he doesn't know how to like hunt and gather and everything like that. So he's like making his best and doing the best that he can, and then until eventually he figures out how he was resurrected and how he can resurrect another person. So like Senku's like he's the smartest person to exist, right? The dude just has like crazy memory, crazy brain function. His, like the amount that his brain works and stores memory and everything like that is just ridiculous. The the reason that they believe that Senku was able to be revived is because one, he got peed on by bats, and pee has a lot of nitroglycerin in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the nitroglycerin mixed in with the fact that Senku wasn't unconscious when he was turned to stone, Senku actually started counting in his
Wait.
stone body the second he got petrified. You said, wait.
No, it's nitrile. It's not nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin's an
It's nitric
explosive.
acid. Nitric acid. Sorry. Um,
Boom.
yo, bats would be
Bats pee
crazy.
explosives.
That would be crazy. I would be Batman if that was like, yeah.
Wa-na-na-na-na.
Could you imagine that? Like, you got bit by a spider and you become Spider Man, and then like you got bit by a bat, and they're just like, "Oh no, don't pee on me." Yeah. Wow, that took a turn. Because of the nitric acid within it, and Senku wasn't unconscious the entire time. He counted the entire time he was stuck in as stone, and he was able to convert that shit really easy in his head from seconds into years, and figured out that they were like 3,700 some years in the future. That's how much time has passed. He's also the same age, the same. He's the same age as he was that long ago when he got petrified. He's in the same like he has the same body parts. Like nothing's changed about him except he was in stone. The only thing that has changed is he doesn't see it, but eventually they figure it out. Is that they have markings on them, and I think that's a really nice visual representation for the author to do to differentiate those who have been petrified and the people who live in the modern world and are born in the
Mm-hmm.
modern world. It's a nice signifier. But he eventually gets enough nitric acid that he makes a potion, which they call the revival fluid. That's just what they always call it. It's the miracle fluid or the revival fluid. He brings back his best friend, who Senku is the brains and the scrawny, and his friend is the dumb and the tough. So they're like the best combination of two. And they live like life for a bit until they try and figure out like what they're gonna do. Senku from the beginning is just like we're gonna rebuild humanity, blah 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 blah. But it wasn't until they found like a lion that things started to go really south. And this is honestly probably this is the pinnacle moment of the series because without this happening, the rest of the series probably wouldn't have went the same.
Mm-hmm.
They encounter a mountain. They encounter a lion. Be it they're in Japan now, a 3,700 odd year older Japan. So like the Earth has been terraformed in much different ways. But they found a lion in the wild, in a forest, the forests of Japan, which they've kind of like put up to the fact that like the zoo animals like probably got out and then they would like normally multiply like if they were in the wild. So they found a lion, and with the revival fluid, they were able to revive a young boy named Sukasa. Calling him a young boy just doesn't feel right. He's like a man. He's like a grown man in a young
It's
boy's
Baki.
body. Yeah, he's pretty much just
It's
Baki, young Baki.
just young Baki.
He's known as the primitive high school
Baki
student.
Shonen.
Yeah, he's known as the primitive high school student, and literally beats the shit out of a lion. But the big turning point of the entire series is the fact that Tsukasa has a different ideology from Senku. Tsukasa believes that this is the second chance of humanity, and instead of reviving all 7 billion people that exist on the earth that have been petrified, that they should use selective that they should not selective they should use this to their advantage and start a new society with the younger people, so the older people don't create the same mistakes as modern society had it. And Senku's just like, nah, we gotta revive everybody. And that's where like their first bits of not animosity towards each other, but like this is the first time they ever went at each other's wits, because Tsukasa doesn't know everything that Senku does. And Senku isn't as strong as Tsukasa. So you have the literal strong person versus the literal smart person. And it's like brain versus brawn, but obviously like one needs the other more. Or both need each other equally, but not to the extent where they're willing to give up their ideologies. And I think that's like the main driving force of this entire series is ideologies and how people like you live in this society. I guess like we could talk about like the greater scope of this is the like everything in this series is about how people think, because unlike other stories where like we have like a lot of other things happening in the world, these people are like it. These what these people do will affect the entire world, because they are not just our literal point characters, but they literally have the ability to cause world changing effects because they are the only people alive, you know?
As far as they know.
Yeah. But like seeing their perspectives and everything like that is my favorite thing. So eventually they revive Yuzuriha, and a lot of stuff happens. All in all, the turnaround for this is that Tsukasa tries to kill Senku after learning how to make revival fluid. Senku fakes his own death because on the back of his neck, where Tsukasa hit him and seemingly killed him, he had a patch of petrification that it didn't quite heal. That that Taiju was able to use the revival fluid on, healed Senku's neck. A lot of other things, but this act in itself created a large time skip and pretty much the progression of the whole story, where Tsukasa was going to revive the people that he deemed worthy and the younger people to create a new empire, and Senku, Taiju, and Yuzuriha created this plan where those two would go off and be a part of his empire and be his like inside people, and Senku was going to figure shit out. Like that was pretty much it. Everything that's happened afterwards is just a great coincidence, and like you could say is like some like master level adaptation on Senku's part, because everything after that he was pretty much just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this all out like by myself.
He's a free balling.
Him finding Ishigami Village, him befriending everybody that was sent to him from Tsukasa that were supposed to like defeat him or like betray him or anything like that he befriended, you know, that's all just like he's just better. He's just better. Senku is greater than all. Yeah, and like up to the modern point that we are now, we've barely just started to uncover the mysteries of the series. Like we just found out what the method was for petrification in the first place, and like it's a man-made thing. That's like it's at least a scientific based thing. Like it could be man-made. And in the most recent episode, we figured out that there are multiple of them.
Yes.
So it's called the Medusa. So this whole thing started. So this whole thing started. It's a big green wave of energy that went and turned people into stone in Earth's proximity. So we learned that there was a group of astronauts that weren't affected by it. They went down to Earth. They did a whole bunch of stuff, including procreating on an island
Yeah.
and leaving stuff for the future generation. And one of these people was Senku's dad, and Byakuya, Ishigami Byakuya, was just like, bruh, my son has this shit. He's not my son, but he's my son. We're not biologically related, but my son is smart as fuck. He's probably figuring out how to fucking cure everybody now. So like that whole thing, yeah, just I feel like I've blabbered on a lot. Like, tell me your opinions. I want to know how you feel about Doctor Stone.
I mean, I adore the series as a whole. I adore all the characters. I love that, a lot of these times with like these sciencey shows and stuff like that, it's not really like rooted in any kind of realism. Um
Mm-hmm.
and one of the like things that like really gripped me early on about this series was that um they have those little like reality breaks where like Mecha Senku will come up and be like, "Oh, look at this! This is a fun little thing," and it's like a Bill Nye segment. It's like a weird
Yeah.
anime Bill Nye segment, and like I was like, "Okay, this is fun. This is cute." And then the thing that like really kicked that like really like sort of like you know kind of blew me away was when they made gunpowder. Because right before they did that, Mecha Senku popped up and was like, "Uh, kids really don't make this at home. This is the recipe to make gunpowder." And I'm like, no, 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 no.
No way.
It's too much. And for sure enough, that was the recipe. That's the one. That's how they do it. Like all the characters themselves are also like super endearing. They're super cool. Um, one of my favorites personally, um, is uh this older guy from uh the village that Senku ends up finding of people like
Oh,
that are actually in the Stone Age. His name is Kaseki. He's just like this very like small looking man, but he's a builder, right? He is a hard worker. Uh and the minute that he gets excited about crafting something, he turns into a JoJo character, and like just his clothes explode and he's just rippling with muscles and just wants to get cracking on some kind of new invention. Um and like I said before, like it really scratches that like Jimmy Neutron itch that I didn't realize that I still had.
yeah. My favorite character is probably, it changes depending on who it, like, what is happening through it. But I have to say,
Yeah.
like, consistently, it's probably Gen, because he, Gen or Geen or whatever, it's definitely him, because, like, I don't know, he is a necessary evil from all of what is happening.
Hmm.
And he's just, I don't know, he's just so cool. The fact that he, it's it's the way that Senku won him over, that, and it's awesome the way that he like wins over everybody in Sakasa's like empire, because what Senku does is he promises to bring the old world into what is happening right now in the stone world. And like, it's literally him talking with Geen, and he's just like, or Gien, I forget. I'm gonna call him Geen. Him talking with Geen about like him doing what he can to put the stone world back to modern times, and he's just like, well, he's just like, I think the dialogue goes like, if there's something that you would want, like in the stone world, what would it be? And he's just like, I want fucking Coke. He's like, not cocaine, but he's like, I want a Coca Cola. He's like, I want cola. And he's just like, I know you can't make it. Or he's just like, you can't make it because like modern refrigeration, like the recipe for making the syrup and like making carbonated water. Like it's impossible. And like a couple things happen and like he like does some stuff for Senku and like does some stuff to betray Sukasa for a little bit. And then he ends up finding a bottle of cola that Senku made him that tastes apparently exactly like it fucking does in the 21st century. And he's just, that wins his heart. It's the simple ask and desire of something to remind him about the world that he was from that Senku was able to deliver on. And like, he just totally he gave himself completely there. He was just like, all right, if this guy can make me some cola, then I'm just gonna give him the rest of my life. He gives me the small thing, the small pleasure that I can't experience, that I couldn't experience before. You're now my master. He doesn't say that, but that's pretty much what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I love the way that he like for the other people, like what's her name? She's the buff blonde lady.
Nikki?
Yeah. So with Nikki, he's like he promises her. He promised. So at first they were trying to deceive her by like thinking that the one singer woman, I forget the name. Okay, I'm just gonna
Lillian
look it up.
Weinberg.
Oh my gosh, you're prepared.
Hi, my name is Lillian Wein.
So having this woman who she adored as like a teenager as a singer, like they were trying to like fake it with Geen, like mimicking her voice and everything like that, and like using the cell phones. This dude created cell phones in the Stone Age.
She was like, "Don't do that. Don't give
Just,
me hope."
well, pretty much what she was like, don't fake it and everything like that. And Senku was just like, okay, but he's just like, what I can do for you is to make sure that everybody will be able to experience this again. And like that is what drove her. And like like a lot of those people have the stories and the promises that Senku can bring them with science. I do have to say Chrome, although he is annoying, I do really enjoy him because
I love Chrome.
he's like the biggest like I don't know, he
Nerd.
yeah, yeah. I guess that's the best way to put it.
He's
He's
just a nerd, dude.
because like Senku for one is the first person who ever validates his existence and his hobbies. And two, excuse me, I'm dying. Two, he's like the only person that takes science as seriously as Senku. And he's just like, oh man, like Senku is like his ideal final form, but the promise of just science in general and like learning more is what drives this man. And it's so like, I don't know, it's kind of heartwarming because like he's still a kid. So like if you were to look at him as like a child fulfilling his dreams, I don't know, it's just heartwarming. Yeah. Also Suika, because Suika is a fucking she's cool. She also like it used to be funny when like Suika was like a watermelon like rolling around, but now it's kind of weird. In the last couple episodes, she's just kind of a disembodied head just bouncing around. Yeah.
Suika being another person that like Senku helped. You know, Senku making prescription lenses.
Yeah, no. The amount of things that Senku does in this series is crazy. Also, some of this isn't like super hyper realistic. They created they created a car in like a day. They paved a road in like a couple hours. They built an oven and like what is it? No. Yeah, they built a boat in a year, which I feel like is super like I feel like a year like might seem like a long time for most people, but like I feel like that's really unrealistic for like a boat, especially the size that the Perseus is.
Yeah.
Some of it's like hyper dilated because of the fact that this is an anime and everything. But everything like pre Stone War was like it was slow and it felt like it was like it felt, I don't want to say it felt super real, but like it was slow and it was cool to see how everything progressed. But everything post Stone War with Sukasa was like super hyper, like super easy.
Yeah.
Like especially after they found oil, like Senku was like he was spawning things in and like he was cheating stuff in with creative mode at this point. My favorite
Well, in all fairness to that, they weren't having to deal with the impending doom
of
of
the world's strongest high schooler.
yeah, and they were able to like focus on like sort of like the fun broad stuff, and they did like have a lot of time skips in there.
Yeah. My but my favorite part is like when Senku is like he has to think or like they're really down and like they pretty much my favorite part is back when they go to the treasure island and the first initial use of the petrification device, the first time Medusa was used
Yeah.
was on the boat, and like Senku, Gin, Kohaku, and fucking what's his name, Suyozu, Soyuzu,
Soyuz?
who fucking out of left field, fucking main character, dope dude. I thought he was just gonna be a meme, but Soyuz like
Saitama looking at.
yeah, I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like we saw him, I was like, is he a traitor? And then he's just like, I'm not from Ishigami Village. I'm from this island. Like, what the fuck? Like, who is this fucking weird ass dude? But when the four of them go to the island and like the petrification happens, I was just like, oh shit! Like they really like the way that the author like lined a lot of the stuff up. I was just like, oh, like this is like a threat. Like before the threat was like a person, right? Like a solid person and like the army that they could have. But like you add on top of you pretty much add on top of the fact that they have like a world ending weapon with them, right?
Hmm.
And like you're just like, "Oh shit." Thankfully they've kind of worked the kinks out of the how revival fluid works. Because Mr. Captain Moneybags over there fucking has died so many times. This is also the easiest way that they could ever show multiple deaths on TV and it not be like R rated. Because I'm sorry, what is his name? I keep forgetting. I know his fucking butler's name, but I can't think of his name.
Oh, Ryusui?
Yeah, Ryusui. I keep wanting to call him Drago, but that's just fucking money.
I love Ryusui.
His special made me. I loved the entire hour that I watched it. Ryusui is so awesome. He also gives me like I don't know. He's like there's so many characters that take up the position of like the deuterotagonist, like the second person that is the main character in the entire
Hmm.
series. Like it's obviously like Taiju for a while, then it's Chrome, and then for a while, like honestly for a long time, even like he takes up bits and pieces of it like up to the story up this to this point now, like Gin is could be seen as like the second main protagonist because like we just see so much from his perspective and like he's involved so much. But like when Ryusui gets added in, I'm just like, oh my god, this guy is like the natural instinct that Senku doesn't have as a person.
Yeah.
Like he is exactly what Senku lacks when it comes to survival skills. And I think he's fun. He's like he's this chaotic good. That's the only way I can describe him. He's like this chaotic good that like meshes so well with the existing cast. His fucking butler is so odd though. When Florence Florius Florians, how do you pronounce it?
Uh, oh, Francois? His butler?
Oh, is it Francois? Man,
It's Francois.
the Japanese sub really doesn't do me very well when I don't watch the episode right after. Francois, super cool. Also feels like a weird Deus Ex Machina just to make it easier for them to have food, but I love Ryusui. The fact that he tried to make a giant economic, like he tried to create like a big economic system with his bills, and then Senku and Gin are just like, nah, we got this. We can manipulate the market. Is like one of my favorite like side things. But he's just died. He's died so many times. If you count the first time he was petrified, he's been petrified like the almost the most. No, he's been petrified the most. He's been petrified the most, and like through petrification has died so many times. Uh, if you count the first time, if you count every time he's been shattered, there is the he's been shattered twice.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been shattered twice, but petrified like four times. The initial time he got petrified, the second time he got petrified, which was the first time on the ship. There is the time that he got petrified when they were creating the line for Senku, and then when he threw himself in front of Medusa when they were in the middle of the most recent fight with what the fuck is his name? I'm really bad at this. I'm explaining the story well. I just can't fucking remember people's names.
Uh Ibarra?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a nickname for him, but like creepy old man's the only thing that comes to
Creepy
mind.
old man.
But he got turned into stone four times. Everybody else like minimum three, or like everybody else is like max three times, but this guy just fucking he's been through a lot. I also think it's like pretty hacks. Kaseki brings it up all the time, like has brought it up both times he's been petrified. He's just like, bro, I feel revitalized. And Senku's just like, oh yeah, the petrification probably cured your arthritis and shit. That's hacks. That is OP.
I would love
When they
to be
bring back
petrified and unpetrified.
when they bring back
My knee would go
Sakasa,
back to normal.
oh man, yeah, both of your legs would be fine. Like it's so powerful. Like literally, like put people in the states like Sukasa, and I mean like I don't know what happens next in the story, but like if there's multiple Medusas and they have one, right? There's no reason for anybody to really die unless it's like of natural causes. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
even to that extent, like if him being petrified put years on Kaseki's life, like where does it stop? You know what I mean? If it cures stuff like arthritis and shit, like what is the delay that that it'll come back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like does he just look like an old man now, but now he's like new or something like that? Because like arthritis is something like gained over time and everything like that, and it'll even like heal back the imperfect cracks as if like that piece was there to an extent. So like I don't know. It's super interesting to think about. Uh yeah. Uh give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the story so far. Give me your thoughts on
I'm interested by it. It's cool and interesting. I where we left off with like there's still like plenty of like questions
oh
left.
tons.
Um
Why?
and like the person that I was watching with, like we were like theorizing and talking about like, you know, where we thought the series was going, how, and we had both said like before watching the latest episode, you know, the series is probably going to end with Senku going to space. And then we watched the final episode and Senku's like, our next stop, the moon. And we were like, well, it's not the end of it, but we were right. Um, the whole like, you know, why man and stuff like that, the secret behind him and whatnot, or them or whatever, is super interesting. I'm excited to see like what comes of that. am interested to see if there's like more to if there's more to like Senku's like family that we don't know about. I know that like, you know, we have his adoptive father, but I have this running theory in my head that, you know, only somebody as smart as like Senku or smarter than Senku could like figure out how to make this thing. This thing is like either an alien piece of technology, which I think would be boring, or the more interesting thing is that it was made on Earth by someone.
Mm-hmm.
What if like, you know, Senku has some kind of sibling or like family that was actually like a part of the creation team or whatever for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, no. Um, I think it's really interesting. I haven't really thought too much about it because I don't know. I don't always like when the main character is somehow attached to everything going on in the story.
yeah,
Like I like the idea that, you know, the thing that ruined Naruto for me was the fact that Naruto is the reincarnation of,
of the Sage of Six Paths.
yeah, that he's the reincarnation of the child of the Sage of Six Paths, and the fact that like
Yeah.
he's predestined for everything like that. I feel like that ruined the entire thing because it's like, oh, you're telling me that the hardships that he went through like were for naught because like the dude's always like guaranteed for some type of success, is what you're telling me, or
Hmm.
he's guaranteed to go down this path. It's also like, well, there's another anime that kind of does this. Give me 1 second. I'm thinking. Fire Force kind of does this. Do you care if I spoil Fire Force?
Um,
Are you gonna watch it?
I I mean I'm up to date with it, but I also I I
This is like hard.
I'd
This is like
pref-
hard end of story, so I'm not gonna spoil it.
so the thing I will say that I know about, I guess spoilers for Fire Force,
Yeah.
is that I understand that somehow, and I don't know how, um the um the world gets like remade or whatever and becomes Soul Eater.
Oh, that's not even like the worst of it all.
Oh geez.
You're just getting to the tip of the iceberg. There's a series that is like very similar to this. Oh, Fairy Tale kind of does this, where like, do you care about Fairy Tale spoilers?
No, I don't.
Okay, spoilers for Fairy Tale. Like one of the main villains, like pretty much both of the main villains are like almost directly involved with Natsu, the main character, like almost like in their entirety, right? Acnologia, which is like the big bad of the series, is like he's a dragon slayer and like he eventually becomes a dragon because he kills so many dragons and eats them and bathes in their blood, so he just becomes a dragon, right? So like he his existence is kind of the reason that Natsu is himself in like a turn of events type of like time travel, him being raised by his dragon father and the reason he does the things that he does. That's a little more like loosely intertwined, but
Hmm.
like the other main villain is literally his brother. And like spoilers, hard spoilers, Natsu is like a revived clone of the main villain's brother. So he literally fabricated like his entire existence and also put him into the care of the dragon that raised him and also is the reason that he can't die and the reason he's so strong and if he kills his brother then he will also die type of stuff. Like
Hmm.
he put a spell on him that states as long as I live you will too or something like that. And like the guy's immortal. So like he can't die. So like Natsu's just like, I'm gonna kill you, blah blah blah, and then he's just like, if you kill me, then you die as well. I just don't always like when like the extremely extremely low chance that the main character is related to whatever's happening in the story
Hmm.
is like directly involved with the main plot that's going on. Like, I get if it's like they get themselves involved, like if the evil organization now makes them the prime target because they've been hassling them for so long. But
Hmm.
I think there's a difference between that and then this random person who decided to get themselves involved. Like, it's like if in Pokemon, Red's dad was Giovanni. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's different for you stopping the evil organization because you want to, and it's different for you want to stop this evil organization and oh ho ho, your dad's the one who runs it. You know what I mean? And like, it creates a different drama, but at the same time, it's like, oh, like, wow, like, I don't know, it's just weird. So I'm not really, I don't necessarily disagree with your idea or like your guys' speculation. I just don't
Yeah.
want it to be like 100% true, where it's like, oh, his father's like the one who makes, who like helps with the production of Medusa or like the science behind it. If
Yeah. It would be
or
very like soap opera esque
or
if like
if
they
his dad
found the
is
creator.
Y
And it's just
Man.
like his evil twin. It's just Senku with like a mustache or something.
Yeah, like if
Uh,
I'm not like too bothered by the that. I'd be more bothered if it's like Y Man is Senku's dad.
Senku's actual father or something.
Or
Yeah.
like or like Y Man's like Senku from the future. Like it would take a lot of storytelling for me to like grasp a lot of that.
Ah, so you're telling me you really didn't like Eon as a villain, Ben?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No. I like the idea that Eon is an alien, not future Ben. Or the fact that it's future Ben that took a Chrono Sapien or Cronian's DNA and then he got his mind taken over. But that's just me. Yeah, no, I really do enjoy this. The Minecraft analogies just kind of were too, like, it was too accurate because this entire anime could just be a Minecraft mod. It could
Yeah.
just be a skin pack for Minecraft because that's literally what it is. But I think like one of my all-time favorite things about this show is like we talked about it earlier, but like it's the ability that this show has to humanize a lot of the stuff going on. I think that this is one of the best animes to bring in a non-anime watcher in to view it because it is so based. I'm not saying everything that they do is based in realism, but like people's reactions to what is happening within the story makes sense. There's always a good validation behind everything for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like Sukasa's a dick for wanting to just pick certain people, but he validates himself in the end. Like towards the end when when they're at their truce and everything, Senku's just like people are just like, "Wow, Sukasa, I can't believe you're this and this," and like, I can't believe you'd actually do that. And he's just like, he's like, we live in a world that can no longer sustain 7 billion people. That's literally impossible for us to bring everybody back. He's like, take everything that I said about corrupt government out of the equation. We cannot sustain 7 billion people in the infrastructure that we have right now. They would all die. He's like, so it only makes sense that we bring back the young people and that are physically gifted and aspire and that have goals and different things like that because those would be the most driven people. And like it makes sense, right? Even to an extent, Huga's also kind of a Darwinistic view on it. He validates his point. He's like, we can only bring back the best people. Huga is literally just like, it is eat or be eaten in the stone world. So he's like, I want to bring back all of the good. I want to bring back all of the best people that is possible, like with a very like Marxist philosophy towards it all, right?
Hmm.
And even like the justifications behind the people who are the Stone Age primitives, like they don't know what's going on. It takes a lot of Senku explaining and showing to them like why things are happening. When Senku eventually when he first enters Ishigami Village, they're correct for everything that they do. They're just like, "Who are you? Why do you speak such clear Japanese? Where did you come from? Like, why do you have these markings on your face? We're gonna lock you up. We're gonna like why like everything's like a pretty good rationale towards it, right?
Yeah.
Even like them like questioning the fucking village weirdo being his like new companion is just like, well, this doesn't really track. Like we like why why everything happens. I feel like it's pretty. I don't want to say realistic, but it's more it's more palpable than like me watching Mr. Ninja go up and down a tree and like creating a giant random tornado in his hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see like it evolve over the time that like the show has gone on and show like different things. And people have shown that like a lot of the science behind this, although like it is stretched for anime, is very like rooted in the actual thing. Like you can make Senku's cola recipe if you wanted to. It ain't gonna taste that good, but you know, these people haven't had actual modern day like accommodations technically in thousands of years, but to them like years. You know what I mean? So like of course it's gonna taste good for them because that's the only thing they have. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so cool of a series. Sometimes like you have to what do they say? You have to ignore the realism or like divert
S-
realism. Suspend
suspension of
disbelief, suspension of
disbelief.
disbelief.
Yeah.
For some things, like you know, in the fucking car and the different shit like that, and
Just have
even
fun with it.
yeah, that's like my favorite thing about this because like, there everybody can find something within this series that you like. The the this show has so many tear jerking moments when it comes to petrified people coming back and them finding a purpose or them siding with Senku, people dying. I'm sorry, during the 100 year during like the 100 year tale or whatever with
The hundred
Byakuya and the
thousand
people.
tales or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during that time, bro, that was just sad. Like these are some of the smartest people to exist in the world, like those astronauts. Except for the singer, she's just a singer.
Well,
Is that rude
leave
to say?
Lillian Weinberg alone.
But I mean, like these are some of like the most. These are literally the most intelligent people on the earth right now because it's only them. Like it's them six. But they quite literally like they just start dying. You know, the different tragedies start happening, and it's just sad to see when Byakuya is face down in that river getting the platinum for Senku. I was so sad,
Oh yeah.
and like I don't know, it's it gets you sometimes watching this because like as a this is like it's considered like an isekai as well as like a post-apocalyptic show because like and like it's so I don't know like fuck the Walking Dead. If a zombie apocalypse happened, like, you know, wait out the rotting flesh. But if this were to happen, bro, that'd be scary. Imagine just waking up and like you're literally like in fucking like arc survival or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that is
I
so
would
scary.
I would shut down immediately. I wouldn't know what to do. There's it's it's similar in like some ways. It's also not that good. The series, but it's okay. I'm not really selling this very well. But there's this TV show that I think was on HBO for a while. Um, it's a very old one, but it's called Revolution. Um,
Uh huh.
and in a similar regard to like modern day technology, it's a what if scenario if uh m- electricity just disappeared from the planet, like a
Uh-huh.
giant sort of like a giant EMP or something happened,
Yeah.
um, and electricity was just gone. Um, it took them a while for them to like show a lot about like scenes from like the night that like the electricity disappeared, but
Hmm.
like there was some like, pretty horrific stuff that like nobody had like even like really talked about or thought about when they showed it off because like, well, if electricity disappears, then what happens to all the planes? And so they just started showing planes falling out of the sky and
Yeah.
people screaming. What? But everyone like just sort of resorted to like colonial times in a way, and like uh all the technology went back to very just old rudimentary stuff, and
Hmm.
very, very few people actually survived that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about this is like suspend your disbelief for the stuff that Senku does and how fast it all happens. But I feel like a lot of the emotions that you see characters have are like pretty, I think they're pretty realistic. Like if I woke up in that world, yeah, I'd feel the same way. Like, man, it sucks now. But we kind of got to survive. And like seeing the differences between a primitive person versus someone who did exist in the modern day, and like their how they look at life and how they deal with situations is always it's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this and hopefully like the I don't know what the slots look like for this, like how much more we have to go until the end of the series and stuff. But you know,
Do you know if the series is done?
oh, like from this episode.
Well, from the manga, moreover.
Oh no, the manga is done.
The manga is done? Okay.
Oh, you mean in perspective from where it is in the manga?
Yeah, like do we have like another arc, maybe two?
Give me a second. This could be easily solved. Um, we have uh the last two episodes were the last two episodes are the beginnings of one arc. So we have counting the two episodes as a whole arc that we haven't gotten through. We have one,
Yeah.
two, three, four, five.
Arcs?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And then pretty much just like the final episode after that.
So we still
Yeah.
have
Some of
plenty to
the
go for.
well, this is the thing. Like a lot of the the chapters didn't like the chapters per arc really didn't get super hefty. So like I get like the what is it? The Kingdom of Science arc, which is like Senku fucking bringing the village up to like modern times to an extent, was like the first
Mhm.
chapter heavy thing. And then the next thing that happened was the the beginnings of the war against Tsukasa, and then every arc after that has been like super heavy with the amount of chapters that they have per arc. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, there's still quite a bit. There's a lot of anime that they could do for this. So Yeah, I'm excited for it. I really love Doctor Stone, and I'm super excited for like the future and like the stuff that they unveil. And I do know what happens in the last chapter, but like I said, you could literally watch the first few episodes. I'd say like you could get to like the beginnings of the Ishigami village arc and like get introduced to like Chrome and like the shit that he starts to do in the village, and then you could read the last chapter and you're just like, yeah, I can see it. Like it's just like the like I don't know. It's not a lot of spoiling to the story, except there's a shit ton of characters at the end in the final chapter. That's pretty much
Okay.
it. Like you just see a bunch of people, and when I read it, I was just like, oh, I know who some of these are. And then like I see like a couple faces, I'm like, I don't fucking know who you are though. So like it feels the final chapter feels very disconnected. So like I don't feel like I spoiled a lot for myself. So I'm very excited to get the mysteries of the show solved for me. Yeah, no. Also, it's fucking Medusa's just OP. Also scary. Also like there
Yeah.
has to be some type of failsafe on that cuz like what if you just accidentally say like a set amount of like a set length and a set amount of time after each other? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like what if you listen to like it's like listening to like a recipe or something like that. What if you're just like, "Oh, we have to be in 5 feet in 5 seconds," and then it's just like like the Medusa's just like cocooning, and then it just fucking in 5 minutes you just fucking the green glow happens. I don't know. It's super interesting. I can't wait to
They're the
hear more.
perfect time bomb.
Huh?
They are the perfect time bomb.
Yeah. Quite literally. That's what happened to that one guy, the guy who was literally just Anubis.
Yeah.
I love how Senku punched his rib cage, and he like Senku was just like, ah, I'm gonna get it instead of like grabbing a rock like Ibarra
Yeah.
did. Fight would have been over. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to see the rest of the stuff for the story. I don't know if you have some closing thoughts on it.
Favorite invention so far.
Um, I don't. Favorite invention. I can tell you my least favorite invention. Like it's like the most useful thing, but it's like my least favorite thing that happened recently. Was definitely the radar.
Hmm.
I get the science behind it and everything like that. It wasn't fun to watch. Like a lot of the stuff during the Ishigami Village arc was definitely like my favorite stuff to watch. My favorite invention. Um, damn it, is it ramen? It might be. Is it ramen? It might be ramen. No, it can't be ramen. I don't know. You go first. Anytime.
I'm quite partial to the race car.
Oh,
The
okay.
little RC like rat cars. But
Oh,
I also really don't
okay.
understand.
Are you talking about they have a name for them? They're called like they're the something something 4-wheel drive.
Yeah. I don't I don't understand how they're supposed to actually be able to drive those because it's not like they have cameras on them. And those maneuvered
They also
in very
like
specific ways.
they're also not using like AR or radio waves. They're just kind of like
Mhm.
working.
Yeah.
Damn it! Is it ramen?
But it's also like those are pretty fun.
Is
I
it?
also really like the tank.
Yeah, the tank is cool. Um,
I miss Stone Wars. Stone Wars was fun.
yeah, the Stone Wars arc was cool. It's when all the invention happened.
Yeah.
Um, fuck? What is it? When they made the batteries, when they made the lead acid batteries, that was pretty cool. Um, God damn, I'm just going through all the inventions. It might be ramen. Damn it. I
I
think
mean,
the
ramen's
phone.
pretty good.
I think the phone's pretty cool, because like, despite everything, like that's the way that they've been able to contact everybody.
Ramen is also like super important though.
Yeah,
The first ever bit of like truly like sustainable and like, you know,
might also be
not
like,
sustainable food, but like food that doesn't expire very fast.
it's either that or the fridge that Scotts is in currently. Because as far as I know, they
We're
haven't used
gonna
it.
freeze him.
They
What?
don't. They don't know. They don't use the fridge mechanics for. I mean, they use the pump. Like Senku has gone on record and said like they use the pump for stuff, like the blueprints for the pump. But like,
Mhm.
I don't think they actually used. We haven't seen a fridge be used for anything except storing Tsukasa's body.
Yeah, he's gonna need to give them some like ice cream or something soon.
Yeah, I mean they make cotton candy.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm really interested. I'm interested in to see what random shit. I mean, like they have Francois, France, Francois,
Francois.
Francois. They have Francois now, so I mean, like Francois knows everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if Francois could put their head together. Because I mean, it wasn't a lot that like Senku just knew like the basics behind a lot of the stuff, and he was just like, I can remake it, kind of like cotton candy was probably the easiest food stuff for him to remake. Obviously, bread didn't work, and like ramen's like a 50-50 because they can't like exactly make ramen like noodles the
Yeah.
way that they should be able to, but yeah. It's either that or, actually, I think I really like the Perseus. The Perseus is just cool. Perseus counts as an invention.
Yeah.
It,
I'd
it,
agree.
it might just be ramen. I think it's just ramen. Yeah.
There's no shame in just ramen.
Yeah, that's fine. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, anything else?
That's about it for me.
Okay. Thank you all for listening. Um, it's been a great episode. Great to be back. We're fired up. But if you would like to get in contact with us, you can reach us at our Twitter handles, X handles. X, is it proper to say X? X, formerly known as Twitter handles. Mine is lying.
Platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah. Mine is at lying underscore mask.
I am Vincent Barlow 8.
And you can reach us both at our podcast Twitter, which is Domestic BF Pod. Thank you to Ultimate Maverick X for the art, as always. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Listening. You don't watch this.
Stay amazing, you beautiful people.